Hello and welcome once again to our training videos provided to you by the Light Aircraft Association. This time we're going to be talking about aircraft instruments, and we're really lucky today because there are literally hundreds of options available to you.
Avionics have evolved massively over the years. In the very beginning, pilots would only fly on fair weather days when they could see the ground and didn't need to navigate very far. Through the 1920s and 30s, instruments began enabling pilots to fly in poor weather and at night. In 1928, Jimmy Doolittle became the first pilot to take off and land with reference to instruments alone. This then evolved into the standard six-pack, which comprised of the essential pieces of information: airspeed, altitude, turn and bank, coordination, speed, altitude indicator, and vertical speed.
Sat here, you can clearly see that I like to keep things basic. There is, of course, a bare minimum legal requirement for instruments in an aircraft, but beyond that, I like to leave it out. However, some pilots like to be presented with as much information as possible. So let's go and have a look at a typical light aircraft that has all the bells and whistles. Here we can see an example of a very modern cockpit layout. It differs completely from what I've got in the Piper Cub, but it presents the pilot with all of the information that he needs. Engine information, you've got basic information there, even navigational information, engine instruments, and primary flight display. How cool is that? There we've got here some conventional analog instruments. Pilots enjoy using these, installing them in their aircraft today?
They do, yeah, they're still very popular. Some people actually prefer them. Some people are traditionalists. I suppose it's what you're used to, really. And yeah, we still sell quite a load of those.
If we move along though, we can clearly see all of the glass cockpits and things, and it's clear to see how instruments have changed and evolved over the years. Looking at this instrument here, it's virtually full glass. What capabilities does that offer a pilot?
It can offer navigation, it can offer all of the instrument information, how your engine's running, the telemetry and things, flight planning obviously. It can give you a full suite of instruments that the analog can do. So you effectively have, I mean it's basically a computer, but it effectively is a whole cockpit in one device.
And is the reliability of instruments like these good?
Absolutely, yeah, and the after sales and support is fantastic, and so if there are any problems, they're really quickly taken care of and sorted out. But generally speaking, yeah, we don't have too many problems with those at all.
And as we look down the line, there's lots of different options available. It's not just sort of standard singular instruments. You can configure it in any way you like. You can use different companies, different providers and suppliers. Does it offer the pilot of today the ability to be able to virtually customize their cockpit to how they prefer?
Very much so. They can, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if we look at some of the, let's have a look. I think particularly this one has got some sort of ideas about the sort of things that people might want to do in their aircraft cockpit and the kind of layouts and information that they can have.
And of course it's not restricted to that, it's down to you, how you would like, obviously with your engineer and things.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I mean, some people want a really simple, you know, basic setup with sort of airspeed, height and, you know, vario or something, and maybe just a radio. Other people want full navigation suite, maybe fly a bit more IMC, IFR, that kind of thing. So, you know, the sky's the limit, really.
And what we're seeing a lot of as well is using flight planning applications and programs and things. So you can have NOTAM, weather, all of this information, and then we're seeing pilots now bring it into the cockpit and actually use it as an en route means as well. Is that something that's becoming a lot more, that you're seeing a lot more of?
Oh yeah, definitely. And what's really interesting is things like the sort of what's not become termed as the electronic flight bags. People are actually using those even when they've got a full suite of instrumentation in their aircraft. You know, even in certified aircraft, people are still coming in saying, well, actually, I prefer to use my iPad on the new Skydemon or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's actually quite common. People still do that.
All of the bits and pieces give redundancy and give the pilot more information. Do you think it's a safer way of flying because you're presented with more information as you fly?
It's a really good question. I think you can be overwhelmed by too much information, so you have to be kind of careful about how you set the things up. I suppose most people, when they fly, they would sort of focus in on the bits of information that are really important to them. The way you use these instruments are many and varied. You know, they can be as complicated or as simple as you like. And most people, when they use them, I think they just sort of focus in on the bits that they're familiar with, that work for them. And that's fine. That's a perfectly good way to use them. But they can be very complicated. You can find yourself, for example, chasing a sort of a height tape, for example. So if you're trying to maintain a level, you know, if the tape's jumping around, like, you know, on a bumpy day, that can be a bit of a problem when you really should be focused outside the cockpit, using your see and avoid and making sure that, you know, you're safe, basically. So you have to kind of be mindful about the type of information that's being displayed. Can you reference it quickly, easily, rather than being overwhelmed by a lot of detail?
So it's true to say then that it is possible to over-configure your airplane and have too much stuff there.
It is possible to do that, yeah, because they're very powerful. You know, they give you a lot of information. So yeah, you have to sort of think about what's really important to you and, you know, just focus on those elements.
Modern aircraft instrumentation is evolving at a really fast pace. Now, pilots are not only able to monitor their flight en route, but they're able to make a digital plan and then bring that plan into the aircraft with them and have it displayed either electronically or via a tablet. Aircraft conspicuity is also improving all the time, helping pilots to enhance their situational awareness and improve see and avoid. Now, whilst I'm a stubborn traditionalist preferring to stick to my old-fashioned analogue instruments, there's no denying that the systems available today help improve the layers of safety and also allow pilots to conduct more efficient, well-informed flights, ultimately leading to more time in the air and less time on the ground planning. Thanks for watching, everybody. Join us in the next episode where we'll be bringing all of this together and taking to the skies for ourselves.